You have been doing the work. You have visualized. You have scripted. You have done the SATs. You have affirmed. You have revised. And still, there is a gap between what you assume and what manifests in your physical reality. Most teachers in this space tell you the gap is your belief. Fix your belief, they say. Go deeper. Persist longer. But that is not the real problem. The real problem is not the strength of your assumption. It is the structure of your mind, and there is a specific Sanskrit concept that describes exactly what is collapsing your manifestations before they can take form. Neville Goddard understood this. He just called it by a different name. The Vedic tradition identified it thousands of years before Neville was born, and they built an entire technology around solving it. That technology is not visualization, it is not affirmation. It is something far more precise. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. There is a concept at the center of yogic philosophy called the Kalpavriksha, translated literally, the wishing tree. In the Vedic tradition, the Kalpavriksha is not a metaphor for positive thinking. It is a description of a specific state of mind, a mind that has been organized to such a degree of internal coherence that whatever it holds as real, reality bends to confirm. The yogic texts describe it this way. A man wanders into a grove where a Kalpavriksha grows. He is tired. He wishes for rest. A bed of soft grass appears beneath a shaded tree. He rests. He wakes hungry. He thinks of every food he has ever wanted. Every dish appears before him. He eats. He thinks of drink. It appears. He drinks. And then the monkey wakes up. In Sanskrit, the unestablished mind is called markata, the monkey mind. Two qualities define it. The first is unnecessary movement, constant restless motion without direction or purpose. The second is imitation. The mind does not generate original reality. It copies, mirrors, reflects back whatever it encounters. The yogic tradition does not merely observe these qualities. It names them as the central obstacle between a human being and their creative power. The man under the Kalpavriksha, with alcohol in his blood and the Markata mind activated, begins to think. Something strange is happening here. Food appeared. Drink appeared. There must be ghosts. Ghosts appeared. He thought, the ghosts are going to torture me. They did. He thought, they are going to kill me. He died. This is not a story about positive thinking. This is a precise technical description of what happens when a mind with genuine creative power is unorganized, when the four dimensions of a human being, body, emotion, mind, and the fundamental life energies beneath all three, are pulling in conflicting directions simultaneously. The wishing tree does not discriminate. It manifests exactly what the dominant internal state holds as real, not what you consciously want, what your organized or disorganized system as a whole is broadcasting. Neville Goddard says the same thing in his lectures. He calls it the feeling of the wish fulfilled, not the picture, not the thought, but the feeling. The felt sense of the wish already completed, but Neville assumes you know how to hold that feeling without the Markata mind dismantling it from underneath. He does not always give you the structural foundation. The Vedic tradition does. This is what most teachers in this space are missing. They are teaching you to plant seeds in the Kalpavriksha. They are not teaching you how to become one. Here is what the yogic tradition identifies as the actual mechanism. You are not one thing. You are four simultaneous processes. Your physical body, your emotional body, your mental activity, thought, image, assumption, and beneath all three, your fundamental life energies, what the Vedic tradition calls prana, the animating force that determines the direction and intensity of everything above it. When Neville says, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, he is describing a state in which all four of these dimensions are organized in one direction. The body carries the feeling of the fulfilled wish. The emotion vibrates at the frequency of the fulfilled wish. The mind holds the image of the fulfilled wish. And the energy, the deep animating current beneath all of this, is flowing toward it without resistance. This is not the state most people are in when they practice. Most people are practicing with the mind while the other three dimensions are broadcasting something entirely different. The thought says, I have my desire. The emotion says, where is it? The body holds the tension of waiting, of absence, of lack. The energy reading all of this organizes toward the dominant broadcast, which is not the fulfilled wish. It is the felt absence of the fulfilled wish. This is what the Vedas call the state of conflict, two opposing intentions running simultaneously within the same system. On one level, you create the desire. On another level, the fear of its absence negates it, not consciously, structurally. The Mandukya Upanishad addresses this directly. It describes the waking state, Jagrat, as the state in which most human beings operate. The mind is active, but it is operating on the surface of reality, identifying with the objects it perceives rather than with the source of perception itself. The law of assumption, the Kalpavriksha principle, the state of samyukti, the organized integrated mind, these are not waking state phenomena. They are a different quality of consciousness operating through the waking body. And here is where it connects directly to what Neville Goddard teaches about the state akin to sleep. Neville is specific about when the law of assumption is most powerful. Not during the day, not during visualization sessions with your eyes closed at your desk. In the hypnagogic state, the threshold between waking and sleep. He calls it the state akin to sleep. He is not being poetic. He is describing a neurological and energetic state in which the Markata mind goes quiet. The unnecessary movement stops. The imitation, the mirroring of external circumstance ceases. What remains is the deep, organized current of your intention, unobstructed by the contradictory noise of the conscious, analytical mind. In yogic terminology, this is the transition from Jagrat to Svapna, from the waking state to the dream state. In this transition, the surface mind releases its grip on what it believes to be possible based on past experience. The Vedic tradition names this explicitly. The belief in what is possible and what is not possible is not wisdom. It is merely the accumulation of past experience projected onto the future as law. Every assumption about what you cannot have, every not possible, not possible, not possible that runs through you when you think about your desire, is not a fact about reality. It is a memory. It is the monkey mind imitating what it has seen before and declaring it permanent. Neville says something almost word for word in his lecture, The Pruning Shears of Revision. He says, imagining creates reality, and if you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and do not allow anything to shake you from that assumption, the assumption will harden into fact. But the operative word is unwavering. The four dimensions must be organized and held organized. The reason simple faith works, a childlike person who walks into a temple and says, Shiva, I want a house, and carries no doubt about whether it is possible, is not because God is listening. The creative intelligence within reality is not a deity who rewards devotion. What simple faith accomplishes is structural. It removes the counterintention. The mind becomes unified. The four dimensions point in one direction. The Kalpavriksha principle activates, not because of divine intervention, but because of internal coherence. God will not lift a finger for you. The creative source has already done its work. It created the mechanism within you. The question is whether you have access to it. The yogic tradition is not vague about how to achieve this organized state. It is a technology. It is precise. The first requirement is clarity about what you actually want, not the object, but the quality of experience behind the object. Every human being is ultimately seeking one thing: pleasantness. In the body, it is health and vitality. In the mind, it is peace and clarity. In the emotion, it is love and warmth. In the energy, it is bliss, the deep, frictionless aliveness of a system that is not fighting itself. This is what Neville means when he says live in the end. Not the end as an object acquired, the end as an inner state, the quality of feeling that the fulfilled wish carries. When you can identify that feeling precisely and hold it across all four dimensions, body, emotion, mind, energy, you have become, however briefly, the Kalpavriksha. The second requirement is the removal of the possibility calculation. Not possible, possible. These are the two words that destroy the mechanism. Whether something is possible is not a question your conscious mind can answer. It has only the past to work with. The deeper intelligence within you, the creative source that is the same intelligence that organized atoms into stars, that intelligence determines what is possible. Your business is not to calculate possibility. Your business is to organize your internal state around what you want and hold it unwavering. Here's how to work with this tonight. In the state akin to sleep, the threshold, the hypnagogic edge, bring the end scene, not a movie, not a long visualization. One image, one moment, the moment that would only exist if the wish were already fulfilled, a single felt snapshot. Now, and this is the piece most people miss, scan the 4 dimensions. Is the body holding it? Is there tension in the chest or the gut that is broadcasting absence? Breathe into it. Let the body carry the feeling, not just the mind. Is the emotion congruent? Or is there an undercurrent of waiting, of hoping, of please let this work, which is the emotional broadcast of unfulfillment? Bring the emotion into alignment with the image, and the energy, let it flow toward the assumption rather than brace against it. This is not effort. Effort is the signal of conflict. When the 4 dimensions are genuinely organized, there is no strain. There is only the clean internal movement of a system that knows where it is going. Fall asleep from within that state, not thinking about it, not analyzing it, inside it. The Kalpavriksha does not require prayer. It does not require permission. It activates when you are organized. You are not asking the universe to give you something. You are organizing the creative source within you, the same source that organized this entire reality towards a specific and unwavering end. That is not manifestation as a practice. That is you, functioning as a creator. The Vedas have been saying this for 5,000 years. Neville Goddard said it again in the 20th century. The only question is whether you are organized enough to let it work. Commit to one day, one morning, one intention, one organized inner state held throughout the waking hours and carried into the threshold of sleep. Not months. One day of genuine internal coherence across all 4 dimensions. See what the Kalpavriksha does. If this is the layer you have been missing, the structural piece underneath everything you have already practiced, there is a deeper exploration of the Vedic states of consciousness and how they map onto Neville's core teachings in the next video. The connection is more precise than most people in this space realize, and it changes how you practice at a fundamental level.